I want to welcome you all here, say a big welcome to Nebraska, and a huge thank you to our Nebraska team who has put this together for us. Ted Hammond, raise your hand. Ted was our coordinator, Guy Trainin, who will be up here in a minute. Say hello, Guy. Jenny Day, is Jenny in here? A fearless organizer. And then Eileen Boswell, who is one of the grad students who's around here, and then Dean Dole, who is going to speak with you in a minute, and all of the faculty. We have a huge Nebraska participation here as well, to just say thank you for being such gracious hosts. For those of you who haven't hosted a convening, this process begins a year ago. And then about 6 months in, we meet weekly every Monday for an hour to talk about what logistics we need to plan out. And we think, okay, maybe we won't need to meet next week, but inevitably we end up meeting and there's something important to talk about. So it's a lot of work, and they've just been terrific in helping us organize this. I'm going to step aside for a moment and invite our gracious host to come up and give you a formal welcome. So, Dean Beth.
Well, thank you, and welcome to Lincoln, Nebraska. We are really delighted to have you here. When Ted suggested that we host the convening, it took us about 30 minutes to get the details and say yes. The work that we do as part of CPED is really integral to our college, and so this gave us a great opportunity to pull in our graduate students and our faculty. So thank you for allowing us to host this convening. Now, you are right now on the grounds of the former Nebraska State Fair. And if, as you walk around this building, you see some doors that look like you could run cattle through them, you could. This was the 4-H building. We often have meetings with our alumni in this room, and they will point out where they showed their prize hog or bull, and it's a space that really lives in the hearts of Nebraskans. You're staying in your hotel in the Haymarket, which that really is what it was. That is where the Nebraska hay was put on the trains and sent out east. So we are very much a homesteader state, and many of our faculty who are not from Nebraska learn how to fake it because it's such a great history for the state. So just a brief story before I turn this over to Guy Trainin. I remember, some of you may as well, 2002, when the U.S. Department of Education established the Institute for Education Sciences. And in those early days, the reason that they set that institute up was because they were going to show us in education how to do real research. There was a lot of talk about how we needed to have random assignment, treatment and control. We need to have a lot of direct measures. We needed to be using more sophisticated analytic techniques. And if only we could do education research right, they told us, then the field, the discipline of education could move forward in this nation. Well, it took us about 10 years to bring them back around, but obviously, what's important about educational research is that we have to be able to use it in real classrooms, real schools, real settings and communities. And so that whole issue of generalization, of applicability is so critical in our research. And when I emphasize CPED and participation in CPED in this college, it's because that's the work that CPED is doing. How do you do the research and education that is going to matter, that's going to allow us to go out in the next week and the next month and really ramp up our practices and create even better schools and an even stronger science of education. So frankly, that's why we were so eager to host this convening. That's why we're delighted that our faculty are CPED active, and that's why I welcome you here. And I thank you for the work that you're doing on behalf of all of education in the country. So I am going to turn this over at this point to Trainin.
I'm Trainin, and I'm chair of the Department of Teaching, Learning, and Teacher Education. And I'm going to start with a land acknowledgement and then say a few words, and we will be ready to start. I think we are on time, which, if you know me, means something is very, very wrong. All right, land acknowledgement. Land acknowledgements are formal statements that recognize and honor Indigenous peoples and their ongoing relationships with the land on which we live, learn, and work. They demonstrate respect for Native people and their histories. They counter the erasure of Indigenous peoples' histories and cultures, and they voice the truth about Native American history and presence. Land acknowledgements are an essential part of building and maintaining good relationships with Native communities. Offering a land acknowledgement should inspire not only awareness, but also relationship in action. And we will have a special guest coming later today, Renee Sansusi, who is a poet, educator, activist, member of the Omaha Nation, and a graduate of the UNL's Indigenous Roots Teacher Preparation Program, who will offer a special welcome to all. So that's something to wait for. We acknowledge that the University of Nebraska is a land-grant institution, and you heard something about that a few seconds ago, with campuses and programs on the past, present, and future homelands. And here's a list of the people who lived here, and I apologize if I mispronounce anything, but I had a little to go on. The past, present, and future homelands of the Pawnee, Usniquonka, Juwere, Nutachi, Omaha, Dakota, Lakota, Hinone, Ainu, Ko, Tsitsistas, and Sotahe peoples, as well as those of the relocated Ho-Chunk, Nemahahaki, and Baksoje peoples. We acknowledge that this land, where our conference center sits, before it was part of the university, before it was part of the state fairgrounds and 4-H, was a site of salt gathering and a shared resource of many of the peoples who inhabited this land. We acknowledge that our coming together here does not usurp or counter any past, present, or future claims of Native people to this space, and that it behooves us to know whose lands we are about to temporarily share. I am ecstatic to host this convening. I have been an active member and member of the faculty interested in the promotion of the scholarship of practice. As such, I feel that right now I'm among my people. As we learn with and from each other, I know that the generation of scholars of practice that have emerged since the inception of the CPED idea have become leaders and pathfinders, and that there is still more to come. Lee Schulman, who was one of the group that started this project, has said in a piece that is my favorite piece of his, and he had a piece in this, I believe, that was reincarnated on NPR a few years back. He said, "I believe in pastrami. Well-marbled pastrami, hot, thinly sliced, piled on fresh rye bread with dark mustard and a crisp dill pickle." Right here, this is not a preview of lunch, I promise. Right here, we share salami recipes, for the scholarship of practice cannot separate the fat from the meat. It is the mixture that gives us the richness. So welcome to Lincoln, welcome to UNL, and I hope you have a fantastic few days. All right, and one last thing I was asked to say. Jazz in June, we're monitoring the weather outside, and we will let you know throughout the day if things get canceled, moved. They are seldom canceled, but they might be moved inside if it rains. So thank you, and I hope it's a great day.
And just to note, those lovely blankets that you got have a nice weathered lining on the bottom, so we'll still be able to sit if the grass is slightly dewy. All right, let's get this party started. Thank you for that formal and warm welcome from Nebraska. It was so wonderful to learn about the peoples who've been here before and to really hear that connection to CPED from both Guy and Dean Dole. I want to talk a few minutes about where we are as an organization and as a convening. You'll see on here that we have now 116 members. This is the largest we've ever been. We have 11 new members joining us here. If you are from one of our new institutions listed here, could you stand up for a minute, please? We invite you on this journey with us. We're 12 years in, and we're going to see how far we can take it. We have the second largest convening here, 208 members attending. Our largest was in Pittsburgh a few years ago with 212. We have 76 of our member institutions represented, and we represent 2 countries, 32 states plus DC, and 1 province in Canada. And you'll see those little blue stars up there are where we have member institutions. So we've just about taken over the US. I am heading for Canada next. And US territories, yes. CPED has always been innovative and member-led. We started with an idea that was both necessary and very unpopular, distinguishing the EDD. We shaped conversation around best ways to create strong professional preparation that honors local context, both the universities and the students that those universities serve. Ideas generated from faculty like you in rooms like these created this work, and as a result of this work, we think of the EDD differently now. We talk about 3-year programs, which we did before. We talk about cohort-based. We talk about problems of practice and applied inquiry. This lexicon and structure are different than where we were 12 years ago. And I am always surprised and pleased that this thinking has become commonplace about the EDD. And yet I know we still have lots of work to do, as members and as an organization. So, we are growing and changing as an organization, but growth doesn't mean we have to change who we are as an organization or what our aims are. CPED remains the place of putting the profession first and professional preparation first and supporting our member faculty in doing this work. I'm reminded, he comes up at every convening, I'm glad Guy started, I'm reminded of the words of Lee Shulman, President Emeritus of the Carnegie Foundation, who sent us and started this journey. Shulman believed that the EDD would ultimately be more rigorous than the PhD, given that the diverse skills practitioners need to impact and improve education. Yet our schools of education continue to be squeezed and caught between the need to increase revenues and demonstrate accountability for improving educational outcomes. Recently, we've come to see many of our institutions under pressure to be self-sustaining financially, which fosters the notion of the EDD as the cash cow and competition among our members, when we were founded on collaboration and common aims. We must continue to look beyond the idea of the EDD as a credential, as a means to generate income. We cannot go backwards. I urge you and your schools to remain innovative despite these challenges, and to continue to grow forward in making the EDD the strongest professional doctorate in education. Focusing on our value, what we, each school of education here, contributes to the preparation of professionals is key to changing the profession, as well as supporting the sustainability of our schools of education. As CPED, our growth and change seeks to support our members in remaining innovative. The board and I believe we have a couple of board members here, David Immig, Lisa Kurtman. Could you both just stand up, say hello, wave? Lisa Kurtman, David Immig, our board chair. We've been working hard this past year to put forth some changes. I'm calling them investments in the organization, to ensure that we remain innovative and continue to be member-led while advancing our aim to improve professional preparation. These include new governance and new bylaws, communication outreach to and beyond our membership, evaluation of what we have done and how we are doing as an organization. These investments present many opportunities for CPED to advance our aim, but they require that we continue to stay focused on the profession. We need to keep the idea of the professional practice doctorate in the forefront of this work. We need to think broadly about our redesigns, meaning to serve the profession and not the academy only, staying on top of what our student practitioners need. We need to consider bigger impacts of our work, not only how our programs transform students, but how they transform communities as well as our own schools of education. We need to consider bigger impacts of our work, not only how we are graduating, what are our students doing with the inquiry and knowledge that we create with them? How are faculty engaged with practitioners, and how is that shaping the profession of the professoriate? How is our education system changing locally, nationally, and internationally as a result of our shared and collaborative work? As we move forward with these investments, we're staying true to our aim. I envision as an organization that increases our membership participation and offers more collaboration to be innovative in our thinking about the EDD. Remember, the CPED framework was developed in collaboration at convenings with folks just like yourself. And effectively, we plan to reinforce our tagline as CPED as the knowledge forum for the EDD. Our new governance structure, which we'll have a Q&A on Wednesday about that, opens space for our members to contribute more to the CPED agenda, helping us understand what you need to be moving forward. How can we help understand what you are doing and what more you need to be innovative? Shaping CPED's future and the future of the EDD. Faculty are at the heart of this work, as are deans who can help us shape the broader conversation. We'll be moving to one convening a year, which will allow for more member participation at convenings, as well as give us space to create more online learning opportunities in between. And to clarify, yes, we do have an October convening this year. This is our last June convening. So we'll have one in October, and then we'll move to 2020. And we plan to have several interactive webinars, as well as a new website to help support that in between sessions. We're improving our communication and our outreach, and we'll ensure that we spread our learning beyond our membership to impact the education doctorate and not just CPED-influenced EDDs. My vision, however, cannot be done without our members, and that's you. Not just the time that you commit coming to these convenings and collaborating with your colleagues here in this safe space, but also the work that you do at your institutions, which may not be so friendly. Sharing your learning with your colleagues and working to develop programs that put professional preparation first and the profession first. Take the learning from this convening, share it with your dean, share it with your colleagues, share it with your students, and renew the conversation about commitments to preparing practitioners. Share those ideas with us on Twitter and on Facebook. We've engaged in a hashtag EDD chat conversation where resources and ideas are being shared. And as we enter the next 2 days, I want to share with you how we got to Nebraska. University of Nebraska-Lincoln is a founding member of CPED with lots of success in integrating the CPED framework in both of their EDD programs. This theme that we have reflects both their learning as well as our request to focus on rigor in the EDD. This is a topic that is as ongoing as discussions about what is the dissertation in an EDD program. So we want to think about what is quality in an EDD to avoid the notions of credentialism as a revenue stream. How do we transform students and programs and schools of education in ways that support the goals and transform and improve the profession? What does CPED mean to that process? What is the brand of a CPED-influenced EDD? And how do we reclaim not only the EDD, but also the educational profession? As you head into this convening, we have some ideas and some items to help you foster that. You'll see in your packet our newly designed program. In here, we have information about the convening, as well as our governance structure, our call for the Dissertation and Practice of the Year Award, more about our journal, which we'd love to see more of you publishing in, as well as the first time ever, we have the next convenings theme all situated, so get your proposals ready, because we'll be making a call for them soon. In our program this time, we have 25 exchanges. We have a lot of social time together. We have large learning exchanges. We've created challenge rooms around topics that you are focused on and concerned about to get that conversation going around those. The CPED team will be reporting out on some of the data that we've generated. You'll see these sheets here. Take them home, use them as conversation pieces with your faculty. We have a new workbook that the University of Nebraska team helped us design. This is not an assignment, but it's a tool to help you go through the convening and learn and gather information that you can bring back with you. And then they have figured out this really interesting thing called Padlet, where if you scan things, you can post your learning that you're doing. Just take pictures of your workbook, post them, and we'll spread them around so everyone can see how we're using this workbook. We also have information about our panelists. We have a dissertation panelist that's going to be happening on Friday, so we can learn across their memberships, what does the dissertation look like? I do have one quick change. We had a workshop that was scheduled yesterday. Poor Nancy Dana got stuck in the Delta nightmare, and she was going to make it here. We were going to shorten that to an exchange, and she is still waiting to get on a plane and finally just said, I'm going home. So we do not have her session this afternoon. In closing, some points to remember. A convening is not a conference. It's meant to be an interactive learning community, to share and learn from and with each other, and to honor the knowledge, the experience, and the perspectives of our membership. Spread out, make friends, learn with each other. This is professional development for you. I'm going to ask you to commit to staying present, to network, to share, to make friends, to gather learning for you and your colleagues. To get us started on this adventure, I'm going to invite Emma Abruzzo, who's the CPED GA, to join us in an interactive activity to get our day going. Thank you so much for being here and welcome.